G'day, how you going? And welcome back to Over the Moon, the podcast where I talk to you about all things space related, from theories of creation to new rocket designs. Today we'll be talking about the moons of Mars. Mars, our second closest planet, has two very small moons orbiting it. These moons are named Phobos and Deimos. I'm not entirely sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, as these are Greek words, so this could be completely incorrect. Phobos and Deimos a conglomeration of rubble that stuck together while in orbit around Mars, eventually forming the moon. Phobos is being pulled in by Mars's gravity by 2 meters every century. Due to this, there have been theories that in 50 million years, Phobos will either crash into the Martian surface or be quite literally ripped apart by the Martian gravity, pulling it into a bunch of rubble, creating a ring around Mars, which would be a pretty interesting sight to see. Deimos is the outermost moon of Mars and the smallest. Deimos is only 6.2 kilometers or 3.9 miles. As Deimos is much further away from Mars, orbiting at 23,460 kilometers or 14,580 miles, it takes much longer to complete a full revolution of Mars. It takes 30 hours compared to the 7 hours and 40 minutes. Deimos is also basically a cube. Neither of these moons are actually perfectly circular. They're quite oddly shaped compared to our moon, at least. But most moons are actually this shape, kind of messed up, not perfectly circular with a few craters in it, maybe. That's because most moons are actually captured asteroids, and Deimos is also most likely a captured asteroid. Because its materials, and its look is very similar to Class B, C, and D asteroids. So most moons are never actually circular. But if you've watched my first episode, which of course you should have, it's the first one, it's the OG one, you will know that our moon was most likely created by a Mars-sized planet crashing into the surface, which is why our moon is so circular. So in conclusion, Mars has two moons named Phobos and Deimos, named after the Greek god of war, and they are both fairly oddly shaped. One of them's a possible asteroid, with the other possibly was a ring around Mars and possibly will be once again. Why are we going to Mars? In today's What's That section, we will be answering the question of why go to Mars? Why not go to another planet? These are separate questions with separate answers, which I will be telling you. Mars is a planet of great interest for companies such as NASA and SpaceX, but some may ask, why go to Mars? Why not another planet? Mars is, after all, not our closest planet. Venus is. But colonization of Venus would be very hard, as it is very, very, very hot. Venus's temperatures can reach 900 degrees Fahrenheit or 465 degrees Celsius. Venus's heat is, in fact, so intense that no rover or lander has actually managed to survive longer than a couple seconds after touchdown. So a human mission would be very hard. They'd probably spontaneously combust after very little time. Mars's heat is also very intense, but in the complete opposite direction. Mars's average temperature is negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 60 degrees Celsius, but these temperatures are very similar to another place that you may have heard of, known as Antarctica. Our poles, they're both also averaging negative 60 or negative 80 degrees. And we have managed to colonize them. There are many science outposts on Antarctica. And if you want to know what a Mars mission would look like, have a look at the Antarctica missions. They're all very similar to what a Martian mission would look like. Of course, not the same, because, one of them's another planet, one of them's the bottom of ours. But up to now, I have only said why go to Mars rather than another planet. I haven't said why move from the Earth in the first place. The Earth, it's a great planet. It's green, it's got oxygen, it's got many layers of atmosphere protecting us from death. And Mars has none of those, so why go there? Elon Musk, who is the CEO of SpaceX, one of the companies trying to get to Mars, has already answered this question, because it's a question he would get asked a lot. Elon Musk's reasoning is that having all of humanity in one place is a stupid thing to do. He says that if nuclear war were to break out, all of humanity could be wiped out in a close to an instant. And if there was a colony on the moon, that is a colony on another body, but that body is so close to the Earth that it could also be very easily targeted by powerful nukes, which could easily take out the entire moon. Whereas if there was a large-scale colony on Mars, then getting a nuke there without being seen by various telescopes and satellites in orbit would be very hard. So the nuke would probably be terminated. So then on Mars, humanity could restart without too much effort and probably eventually send humans back to Earth once all that nuclear radiation has died down. In conclusion, humans are going to Mars to prevent humanity. Oh my god. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Over the Moon. If you did, hit like and subscribe to stay tuned for more podcast episodes every Sunday. The next episode, next Sunday, will be about the future of Mars. Not actually the future of Mars, but future Mars missions. Bye.